Well, hello, friends. Welcome to the Ladybird browser update for November 2024. It has been a great month in the project, as usual, and we've worked on a bunch of stuff. So let me tell you all about it. Now, the first thing we do, of course, is thank our sponsors because Ladybird is funded entirely by sponsorships and donations from companies and individuals who care about the open web and believe that we should build an independent implementation for it. This month, we are joined by 4 new sponsors, 37 Signal and Paul Copplestone at the silver tier, and Pewter and Followers 24 at the copper tier. So thank you so much for sponsoring Ladybird. We really, really appreciate it. And let's get started with November 2024. So the first thing I want to look at is just raw numbers. We've had many more pull requests than last month, actually, 454 from a total of 55 contributors. And that's a bit fewer contributors than last month, but a lot more pull requests. So it's always nice to look at the numbers just to have an idea. And something unusual this month was that we went to GitHub Universe in San Francisco. Andrew from our team was there representing Ladybird, and GitHub gave us a little stand to demonstrate Ladybird. And Andrew had a great time talking with conference attendees and showing them what we've been working on. Also met with a bunch of other projects. So it sounds like it was a great time overall. So that was very, very cool. Thank you, GitHub, for inviting us to be in your open source zone. All right. So this month, we've had a continued huge focus on web platform tests, which is, of course, the spec compliance test suite for web browsers. We've had lots and lots of engine work to improve our web platform tests score. We've also had many new contributors join us to help out with our WPT score. And I'm very happy to report that we have 63,699 new passing tests for a total of 1,629,000 passes. And to put this into context, of course, let's look at a graph. So this here shows us the top 3 browser engines and the top 3 underdog browser engines, I suppose. This is at the end of last month. So what you saw in the previous update video, if you watched that. And if we fast forward to today, this is what it looks like. So just jumping back and forth here, you can see that there is quite a big, nice jump from Ladybird. Not quite enough to jump past Flow, but we are creeping up on them very, very closely here. Also nice to see Servo making a bit of a improvement as well. Definitely good to see activity from more of the underdog engines. Now, WPT, I like to mention every time, is heavily weighted towards CJK text encoding, so Chinese, Japanese, Korean text encodings. So it's about 60% of the score is just CJK. So if we take those out, just to get a slightly clearer picture of the score, this is what it looked like at the end of last month, and this is what it looks like today. So you can see just how close we are getting to Flow now. And November didn't end up being the month when we jump past Flow, but it is looking like December might be it. But of course, anything can happen. Maybe they will see a surge in activity. Who knows? Maybe they watch these videos. But yeah, so that's the web platform tests. And of course, a huge thanks to everybody who's been helping out with pushing our score up, because this is just the accumulated effect of hundreds of individual fixes. So very, very cool. All right. So something new this month is that we are adding support for vertical text. This was something that was broken in the last monthly update video where I demonstrated a website that had some vertical text. It looked wrong, as you can see here on the left. And on the right side, you have actual vertical text. This was implemented by Ben, and it's looking pretty good. It's using the CSS writing mode property, I believe. And there's a lot more work to do here with text directionality and stuff, but we are off to a good start. So very cool. We've also done a bunch of work on security features this month, starting with DNS over TLS, which was added by Ali. Luke has been hard at work on content security policy. It's not fully merged yet, but it is coming. And myself and a bunch of others, such as Jelle and Gianluca, have been working on web crypto, in particular adding support for HMAC and ECDH, but also implementing some of the missing algorithms for various other curves as well. And all in all, our web crypto is in pretty good shape. A couple of things missing, but we'll get to them. Something I worked on was the individual transform properties in CSS. So you no longer have to use the transform property to make a transform. You can also use these simplified versions. We saw these getting used more and more on the web, so of course we have to support them in Ladybird as well. We've added support for a bunch of explicit color spaces when you're using the CSS color function. So here's a list of color spaces that we now support. And that was mostly Lucas working on that, I believe. Alex implemented CSS mask image. So here you can see the gradient effect there in the background. I guess I can show you that in a demo in a moment. But this is a very nice thing to have. Alex also implemented pointer events, which make it possible to use tools like Excalidraw now, which I will demonstrate to you in a moment as well. So that's the pointer up, pointer down, pointer move event that some web apps depend on. So now we have them. All right, so let's do a demo. Let's take a look at Ladybird. So we'll be starting with our new sponsors for the month, 37 Signals. Let's check out their website. So this is what it looks like in Ladybird today. It's a little bit of jank here, but on the whole, pretty good. And we can also visit some of their product sites. So here's Basecamp. We did some work on this one last month, actually. The Hey email, also looking pretty good. Here's once.com. And I think all of these sites are pretty close to perfect. Might be a little bit of layout going wrong in a couple of places, but on the whole, pretty good. And then we also had a sponsorship from Paul Copplestone. So Paul Copplestone. This is his personal website. We can go to his personal knowledge base here, learn about life. He has one section which I find particularly good, which is always be wholesome. I think that's good words to live by. Paul is the CEO of Supabase, so let's visit their website as well. Here's what it looks like in Ladybird right now. It has some performance issues, especially janky while loading, but fidelity-wise, it is looking pretty good. Once everything is loaded in, it does get kind of smoothish, but we do need to do a bunch of work here. And scrolling is a bit janky as well. But pretty cool, pretty cool. Then we had a sponsorship from Pewter. Now, Pewter is a sort of desktop computer in your browser service. And it doesn't fully work in Ladybird yet. There's supposed to be a dock of icons here, and it doesn't show. We are still working on support for Pewter, but we appreciate the sponsorship nonetheless. And then finally, we also had a sponsorship from Follower24, which we cannot load. We get stuck in the Cloudflare bot detection turnstile thing. But perhaps in the future. But yeah, so those were our sponsors. And then I guess let's look at Excalidraw. So that's a pretty cool site. Maybe I should close some of these tabs here. So now that we have pointer events and a couple of other bug fixes, we can actually interact with tools like Excalidraw and even use them a little bit, which is pretty crazy. Definitely going places with this browser. And let me make that thing red. Look at that. Beautiful. So that's very cool. Can you zoom? You can. Yeah, so I think it's not like actually looking completely correct. This looks a little wonky here. Um, but I do believe that's just something on our side, obviously, that we're not doing right. But we're gonna figure that out. And another site that works surprisingly well is oh wait, that was not the right URL. vscode.dev. This is something we've looked at before, but I learned that it recently got even better, and I think it's just so cool that that we can run VS Code in Ladybird, right? So how do I change the language, I wonder? Oh, down here probably. Plain text. So let me just change that to C. And it's syntax highlights and everything, which is crazy. If I zoom, it goes a little wrong. All right. There we go. But there was a neat thing I wanted to show you here, which is that if I have a file on my desktop, and I thought this was so cool, then I can just drag it into VS Code. I thought. Apparently, I cannot. No, it does. It does work. Okay, I just have to drop it in the right place. Yeah, so it actually allows us to drag and drop files, and it just works. All the web features are in place, and how cool is that? Anyway, okay, so yeah, those were the sites I wanted to show you. Okay, before we go, of course, I want to thank all the contributors who added or removed code in Ladybird in the last month. If your name is on this list, you have at least one commit in the Git repository. Thank you all so much for working on Ladybird. This is an amazing project, and it wouldn't exist without all of you. So thank you. And to the viewer of this video, thank you as well. Really appreciate that you're coming here and staying up to date with the Ladybird project. We are pushing forward as fast and hard as we can towards a truly independent web browser, and we're having a great time. If you're interested in working on a browser, new developers are joining us every week. Many people do their first ever browser development on Ladybird, and that could be you as well if you're interested. So come hang out with us on Discord, find out if it sounds interesting. There's a link to that in the description, and I guess that's the end of the video. So see you all next month.